brings chaos. In return brings death to all dimensions and worlds.
There's a lot of them.
They don't matter. The question is, where's Ellen Trechend? Clearly communicating with us through telepathy. We have to make sure our mates are safe.
But which area could this creature be? And how do we activate these artifacts?
My mind's blank. It seems like I'm supposed to know, but something is keeping me back. I don't even feel the dream priests in me anymore. I'm alone and lost.
Mario, you must close your eyes in a dream.
I can smell your
Oh man, dude, what do I do here? I'm just a fantasy commissioner. I didn't sign up for this stuff.
must be sad you're not the chosen one again. You run this league and yet you can't seem to win. 2 runner-up finishes. Pathetic. You should be glad that I'm going to end your miserable existence. Though, I might just possess you first. Force you to trick your friends into the ultimate betrayal.
No!
Mario, in dreams you can connect the real world and manipulate and control its properties. But those properties must be bound to you. This is the true power of the Dream Priest. I first saw your arrival and bound you to the artifacts with my seals. You just need to get them forward with those connections to their areas to facilitate the others. You should know who they are.
Banditos del Rio, remember the Titans that clashed at Demon Head of Risky Business? Of course.
Once the artifact's energies are activated, it'll be up to you to harness it into the portal. But beware of the Unseelie. They will not let you succeed easily.
Mario, are you with us?
You must distract the Unseelie somehow so I can get closer to the portal.
Done. I'm always a good decoy.
Banditos del Rio, remember the Titans that clash at Demon Head and Risky Business. I need you to think each part of this poem to help us with what we need to do. By the gates in time, the memories are mine. Relinquish the energies into our minds. The power within is strong. It binds as hell crumbles, decays, and unwinds.
By the gates in time, the memories are mine.
Relinquish the energies into our mind.
The power within is strong. It binds.
And hell from decay and unwind.
Now everyone, close your eyes and feel the strange energies flow through you. By the gates of time, the memories are mine. Relinquish the energies into our minds. The power within is strong and binds. As hell crumbles, decays, and unwinds.
Protect the portal.
Not so fast.
By the gates in
Relinquish the energies into our mind.
By the power of the Queen, I send thee back to the void! Fuada!
By the gates in time,
Relinquish the energies into our mind.
The power within is strong and binds. As hell crumbles, decays, and unwinds.
Master is coming.
Mario? Something doesn't seem right.
But if that wasn't the Master, then who? Welcome to the quest for the Green Ball, Òrdugh Truaillidh. This is it, the final test before the playoffs. 4 teams are fighting for 3 spots, and seeding and final matchups still need to be set here. There's also a rivalry match, so even 2 teams could have something to play for that are well out of it. And of course, consolation buys are still up for grabs as well. We essentially have 2 play-in matches in the playoffs, though one of the matchups has a chance to have both teams make it. Actually, both of them kind of do, but mostly one of them does. That leaves one match as the clear. Is 8-5, the Stellar Bitches travels to the Gulf to the Highlands to take on 7-6. Remember the Titans in the peaks of all battle for the division title in the 3 seed. The Stellar Bitches would most likely still make the playoffs with a loss, but there is a chance they're left out. It's not guaranteed. Remember, the Titans is most likely left out with a loss based on tiebreakers. So this one's pretty major, and neither team has won a division title in their careers, though remember the Titans did win the Green Bowl back in 2021 after back-to-back appearances. This would be the 2nd time the Stellar Bitches even made the playoffs, so a lot going on here. Of course, the computers say 50-50 toss-up. No surprises there. Last time these teams met in week 1. Remember the Titans won in a very, very, very low-scoring game, which was also our first game of the week. So teams in the first game of the week might as well finish as the last games of the week of the regular season. It's going to be a good one. Let's get right to it. The Stellar Bitches will be looking for trade pickups, quarterback Joshua Dobbs and running back Alexander Madison, to take advantage of a good matchup against Las Vegas. Remember, the Titans will hope Lamar Jackson gets the touchdowns and not get Gus Edwards, and he'll look for Puka Nacua to fight through a tough matchup in the flex. Bijan Robinson and Rachaad White go head-to-head in what should be a close game with a lot of rushing attack to boost the Stellar Bitches. Remember, the Titans hope Zach Moss steps up with Jonathan Taylor out, and he'll also be looking for David Montgomery to get the touchdowns against the Bears and not Jahmyr Gibbs. Devontae Adams and Jalen Waddle don't seem to be throwing the ball as much as they should be, making them touchdown dependent for good games. Sam Laporte is a trade pickup that, remember, the Titans is going to look to pay dividends and out-duel Cole Kmet. Matt Gay versus Cairo Sanders could be big, with both kickers most likely to get plenty of opportunities. And Miami and New Orleans both have great defensive matchups. And these close battles are why the computers see this as a close, high-scoring matchup between these 2 squads. But I am looking at 2 players here with the power to change the complexion of the entire matchup. When you have a 50-50 toss-up like this, it could be just the one player that really steps up and changes everything. For the visiting Stellar Bitches, I'm going with wide receiver Keenan Allen. Allen already has tied a career high with 8 touchdowns. It's his 3rd time he's had 8 touchdowns. And he's got a lot of games to go, so most likely he'll try to break that. He also has 1,175 yards, just 218 yards away from tying his career high for a season total, so he might break that as well. Allen's also just 5 catches away from his individual receptions record for a season. So yes, this is shaping up to be a career year for the 11-year veteran. He had multiple touchdowns twice this season and had over 100 yards 5 times, including one game with 215 yards. His 2 worst games were at Kansas City and at New England. He had under 60 yards and no scores in those games. This week he goes up against Denver for the first of 2 times, and this time it's at home, which could be important. We have featured players going up against this defense, this Denver defense, before. So we've kind of went through a lot of what Denver has here, and we continue to say Denver is a tale of 2 teams. There's the team that was terrible through 4 weeks, and the one recently that's actually not been as bad. Denver has allowed 142 yards per game to wide receivers and 10 total touchdowns. But since week 5, they've only allowed 108 yards per game to wide receivers and 5 touchdowns, including just 1 touchdown since week 8. The teams with the best passing attacks have done well with yardage, but Denver has actually made life tough on wide receivers getting to the end zone, including against Buffalo. They got Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs and some other guys. If Keenan Allen can break that streak and have a big game, it could be the boost the Stellar Bitches need to put this one away. But if Keenan Allen struggles, especially with the way Justin Herbert has been playing under Brandon Staley's terrible offense, it could be what keeps the Stellar Bitches from winning the division title. For Remember the Titans, we're going to look at another wide receiver from the 49ers, Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk was traded twice this season in our league, as Remember the Titans traded him to Air Jordan, and then got him back in another trade with Air Jordan later in the year. So he was like, I want Ayuk back. Remember the Titans also favored Ayuk over Deebo Samuel, who he traded to get Sam Laporta. Now is the time for that decision to be judged. Ayuk does have 927 yards and 6 touchdowns this season. He is less than 100 yards and 2 touchdowns away from tying career highs in both of those categories, so he's having a good year in his 4th season. He has also caught a touchdown in his last 4 games, so he's reaching the end zone. He did total 150 yards against Tampa Bay as well in this stretch back in Week 11. He's had over 100 yards 3 other times this season, so 4 total times. Multiple touchdown effort in Week 1 as well, but he's also had a touchdown drought that lasted 6 games, including when Samuel was out of the lineup, which is interesting to think about. Ayuk is also part of an offense that goes with 2 hot hands usually per game. McCaffrey's always one of them. And then you got Ayuk, Samuel, and Kittle taking turns for the other hot hand. The last few weeks, it was essentially Samuel getting most of the fun with McCaffrey, but Ayuk was able to get a couple of scraps as he reached the end zone as well. But in any given week, Ayuk could be outplayed by Kittle, and this can be seen with his targets, as he's seen 6 or less in 5 games. The good news is that Seattle is next, and they haven't done great with containing wide receivers, allowing 159 yards per game and 13 total touchdowns. They've also allowed 6 of those scores in the last 5 games, so they're getting torched lately. Ayuk had one of them against them earlier this year as well. They allowed over 200 yards to wide receivers in the first 3 games, but haven't been that bad. But that's always there as well. Seattle has also allowed 32 plays of 20 yards or more, showing that Ayuk could get a big play opportunity. Pretty much anyone could on the team. In the end, Ayuk could be the reason Remember the Titans wins or loses. If you keep scoring, it also gets a few big plays that could be enough in a close game. But if Ayuk is kept out of the end zone and someone else vultures those big plays, it could be knockout time, as Remember the Titans could be left out of the playoffs. Either way, this is a gigantic game that will shape the playoff bracket. There's one other game that will be shaping that bracket as well. So let's get into it in the other league previews here. In the wetlands of our own division, in a battle of 7 and 6 teams, defending champion Elite Mother Tuckers hosts Risky Business at Cascade Isle. The Elite Mother Tuckers need a win or a Remember the Titans loss to make the playoffs. Risky Business will be thrust into the tiebreakers with a loss, but does look likely to make the playoffs anyway, something to think about. Risky Business needs a quarterback with Kyler Murray and Sam Howell on a bye. And that has the Elite Mother Tuckers looking strong with a 75% chance to win until that happens. The Mother Tuckers will hope Justin Herbert doesn't struggle again so he could get a big advantage at that position. Josh Jacobs and Travis Etienne versus Christian McCaffrey and Joe Mixon is going to loom large here. DJ Moore and DK Metcalf have a clear advantage over Cortland Sutton and Tyler Lockett. The Ravens versus Cowboys defense and the flex battle between A.J. Brown and Jamar Gibbs also look like keys to victory. In the other wetlands of our own matchup, 9-4 Green Acres hosts the 4-9 Siamese Dreamcats at the Bogs of Diomir Acht. Green Acres can get the number 1 overall seed with a win or a Banditos Del Rio loss and a Stellar Bitches win. Green Acres only has a 55.7% chance to win. CJ Stroud versus Brock Purdy, Tyreek Hill versus CD Lamb, and the Patriots versus Colts defense look to be keys here. Also, Tony Pollard versus Kyron Williams will be interesting, because both have tough matchups. 9-4 Banditos Del Rio travels to the waters of Karen Crone to take on 8-5 the Clash at Demon Headed, a potential playoff preview. Banditos can clinch the number 1 overall seed with a win. The Clash at Demon Head will be the number 4 seed with a win or a win by the Stellar Bitches. They will be the number 5 seed otherwise. Banditos comes in with a 70.8% chance to win.
Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen is very interesting, as is Raheem Mostert versus Isaiah Pacheco. Mike Evans versus Jamar Chase, and Deebo Samuel versus Christian Watson are other places to watch. The Lions versus Jets defense could be a momentum changer for both teams. In the Peaks of Ulk, the 6 and 7 multiple scoregasms host 6 and 7 Air Jordan at the abandoned villages of Bananak with the consolation bye on the line. Air Jordan has a 53.8% chance to win. Dak Prescott versus Gardner Minshew, Elvin Kamara versus Saquon Barkley, and Derrick Henry versus Nico Collins are places to watch. Dontavian Wicks versus DeAndre Hopkins is also interesting. And finally, in a rivalry matchup with the cash of Mentats on the line, my 4-9 Gashkia Slews host 3-10 Loki Lebowski Thor at the foggy fields of Vast Lignin in a Flatlands of Skell matchup. My Slews have a 63% chance to win, and that depends if Justin Jefferson actually returns to the lineup. Justin Fields versus Jalen Hurts, Austin Eckler versus Devin Singletary, Stephon Diggs versus Calvin Ridley, and Devon Achane versus A.J. Dillon are places to watch. The Browns versus Steelers defense battle could bring a lot of points as well. So even in the matchups without playoff implications, there are things to play for here in this final week of the regular season. It should be a fun and nerve-wracking one for many of us. It could be making us all say, is this real? Or is this a dream? That's the show for the week. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back next week with these results and our playoff previews for those quarterfinals. Before you go, check out the second to last power rankings of the season. Until next time, salut.